Okay. Alright, what's up guys? This is Mr. West here for me and Team Shenanigans. I'm still working on pronouncing that name, but we're doing good. This is a deck profile of Spellbook Prophecies. We're at Richmond Regionals right now. I want to introduce you. Good.
What's up? I'm Dylan. And this is my deck profile. We ended up going 5-2-1 today. Could have done a lot better. That's all I'm going to say. A couple of misplays, lost me a game or two here and there. And there are two cards in the main deck that I wasn't too happy about. But overall, everything else is very solid. The deck has a lot of potential. It just needs a little bit more work, aside from also needing the Abyss Rising OCG cards. So let's go ahead and get into the deck profile.
Okay.
Starting off, we have our 3 High Priestess of Prophecy. This is the boss monster of the deck. It's a normal summon monster, so you can discard it, reborn it. There aren't any really steep conditions for summoning it. The easiest and most practical way to summon it is by using Temperance of Prophecy. When Temperance is summoned, you contribute it. It's like Lonefire Blossom. As long as you've activated a spellbook card in the turn, you contribute it to special summon a level 5 or higher letter dart. Yeah, so you basically summon this guy, girl actually, activate spellbook, bring out Priestess, banish spellbook, destroy card, rinse, repeat until you win. We play 3 of each because these cards are just really damn good. They win you a lot of games. Next up, we have 2 Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. I originally ran 3, but with Thunder King being the MVP of so many decks, it was really hard to play 3. And I never play 3 copies of a card that I don't want to open with all 3 of at the same time. A couple times against Dark World, I'd open all 3 and just sit there crying to myself.
Okay.
But these guys get you your Book of Secrets, your Book of Power, Wisdom, Life, whatever you need. Next up, we have 2 Trigodias. This was probably the best card in the deck today. So many times when I would be up against an opponent playing windups or something, I would just draw 6 cards and end my turn. They'd try and OTK me, bang, Trigodia, and then I follow that up with like a Heavy Storm or MST, start whacking away at their monsters. Trigodia gets really big, really hard to get over. It has a lot of really cool options for exceeding with our level 2s and level 3s, if these are in the grave or in our hand. Also, if you have a Dead Temperance and your opponent Tour Guide Sangan to you, and didn't exceed for some reason, or just summoned a Sangan and poke, discard your Temperance, take their Sangan, make his Endmains or something. Make yourself happy. Next up, we main decked 1 Max C, just 1. I couldn't get 2 before the event. I also didn't feel very comfortable main decking 2. I know it's really, really awesome with Trigodia, but at the same time, Thunder King set 5, open double Max C. I don't really win games like that. Next up, we have 2 Effect Veilers. I didn't want to play 3 of these because, like I said, drawing 3 copies of 1 card in tougher matchups like Dark World and against Thunder King is not really going to save me. These were there when I needed them to negate stuff like Scrap Dragons, Tour Guides, etc. Next up, we play Gores, the most famous hand trap. Gores is just fucking good. Gores and Veiler make level 8s. You do a lot of fun stuff with Gores. And this deck doesn't play a whole lot of back row, so Gores comes out a lot. Next up, we have 2 Breaker the Magical Warrior. Has a lot of synergy with some of the spellbook cards, which I'll explain later. Believe it or not, this card is really fucking good right now. Summon Breaker, swing over monster, pop back row. Yeah, he's back again. Next up, we have the other MVP, which would be 2 Spirit Reapers. A lot of times in a game, I'd have nothing going for me. I'd be staring down an Eteria Beast or Shockmaster. There's no hope. Set Reaper, say go. Saved me a lot. And with some of the other traps that we ran in here in spells, Reaper was just really, really good for aggressive plays. If they attack into my Gores, swing over their monster with Reaper, start pulling stuff out their hands. Buys me a couple turns to load up on spellbooks to draw Priestess. And then finally, we have 2 Tour Guides and a Sangan. I was originally playing Pot of Duality, but I just liked how explosive Tour Guide was and the amount of combos it allowed me to go, and like rank 3s allowed me to go into. So many times Tour Guide would just win me the game. It's a win more card, really. It's too good. And now for the spells. We have Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, and Heavy Storm. 3 limited cards. They're limited for a reason. Damn good cards. Why wouldn't you run them? Good in any deck. And now for the spellbooks, we have 3 Spellbook Secrets. This is your Searcher card. It lets you add any spellbook card from your deck to your hand. So what that means is you can get this blue guy too. So say your opening play for some reason was set this guy, say go. Your opponent doesn't kill him. You flip him face up, get one of these, activate it, get another one, summon him, get another one of these, and then make Gachi Gachi or any rank 2. Opens up some pretty interesting plays, and it helps you get those spellbooks in hand to summon Priestess.
Nice.
Next up, we have 3 Spellbook of Wisdom. This was the WTF card of the day. A lot of people did not know what this card did. It just cockblocked so many Lances, Compulses, or not Lances, Compulses, Deep Prisons, Mirror Forces, and Bottomlesses. You select one face of spellcaster you control, or one face spellcaster on the field. Any spellcaster, it doesn't have to be Prophecy Monster. And you can make them unaffected by spells or traps for the whole turn. So Summon Breaker, they bottomless it. Book of Wisdom, unaffected by traps. Destroy their Warning or their Deep Prison or their Mirror Force. Kill their monster. Really fun. Then we've got 2 Spellbook of Power. This card gives one of your spellcaster type monsters 1,000 attack. If they destroy a monster by battle, Spellbook of Power allows you to add a spellbook card from your deck to your hand. This card is really helpful for getting over bigger monsters. I know my Priestess has killed an Obelisk before with this card. This is good with Breaker to swing over stuff like Utopia, like Pulsar Dragon for some reason. Really annoying shit like that. This card puts in a lot of work. And next up, we have 2 Book of Life. One of the best cards in the deck because a lot of people don't know how to react to it. How this card works is you activate it, and the cost for using the card is to reveal 1 spellbook card in your hand, so say we're revealing Power, and to banish a spellcaster type monster in your graveyard, to special summon another spellcaster from your graveyard. So this is really good for recycling your Priestess. It makes it really hard for them to get rid of it, especially because she can just keep banishing spellbooks, destroying cards, and bring herself back. There are a lot of really cool combos with this card and Tour Guide, which I'll explain in a bit. And then for the last spells, we had double MST. I did not regret maining 2. It was amazing. So many times MST just wins games, especially if you understand how to use it correctly and don't just blind MST cards. You really have to save it. It is a power card even though it's at 3, but it can win you a lot of games. And for the last 2 cards, spell cards, we ran 2 Soul Takers in the main deck. I wasn't really a big fan of it. I was main decking 2 Reapers and Thunder King is a pain in the ass, so I figured why not play Soul Taker. It didn't really do that much. I'm probably going to try replacing it for something maybe like Call of the Haunted, a Night Assailant, anything else that may be useful. I've tried several cards in the deck, but Soul Taker was just like the slot, you know. And it has a lot of synergy with a couple other cards I'll explain. And the last 2 traps were 2 compulsory evacuation device. This card is really sick, especially for those people who want to reborn your Priestess because they think that, you know, you want to Book of Life it. Just compulse it, summon it again, no problem. It's also really good against Stardust. A bunch of other really annoying monsters. Compulse is really, really powerful right now. And just a couple more things about the main deck.
Okay.
We have our Tour Guides, and we have our Temperances, and we have our Book of Lives. So say we're in a situation where we have Shitty Blue Guy and Temperance Engraved, and we have the Book of Life, another spellbook to reveal, and a Tour Guide. What we can go ahead and do is we can Book of Life, we can banish this guy to summon him, or any other spellcaster for that matter. Usually a High Priestess would be a better example. Then we can go ahead and summon Tour Guide, get another Tour Guide. From there we can go into Levier, detach, get back Temperance. We activated his spellbook this turn, tribute Temperance, get Priestess. And it's just pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. That happened a couple times today. A lot of people really didn't know how to react. Whereas if these Tour Guides were Pot of Duality, I wouldn't really have the explosive play. This is a 3-card combo that just wins games.
That's really nice. Now, like, I've been hearing a lot with, the Book of Life, the Equip spell.
Yeah.
Now, what happens when it's chained to, like, MST and all that?
Well, if your opponent chains MST to the activation of the card, meaning you paid the cost, by banishing a spellcaster and revealing a spellbook, if they Typhoon it, it gets destroyed, it never attaches, the monster dies. But if Book of Life remains on the field, and your opponent top decks an MST and tries to get rid of it, the monster is not actually attached to Book of Life. So, let me get that card, I actually need it. So, your Book of Life, if your opponent top decks an MST and tries to destroy your Priestess that you revived, nothing will happen to your Priestess. If anything, it'll just lose the level increase that happens with Book of Life, which I didn't explain, but that actually won me a couple games too today with some weird cards in my extra deck. And let's go ahead and go to the extra deck right now.
Alright.
Because we're playing Tour Guide, we play every rank 3 that we can that actually does something relevant and can help you win games. Oops, that's not rank 3. And then there should be an Acid Golem in here. Yes. I brought out everybody at least once today. Tempo, just MVP against Zenmains and Gem Knight. Terrorize them. Acid Golem going for game, this guy going for game as well, or just getting a big leader on board. Levier for our Temperance plays, steal our opponent's wind-up rabbits, shenanigans and such. Zenmains to buy you that extra 1 or 2 turns to get those spellbooks and start, you know, putting in work. Giga Brilliant, I didn't really need it that much, but it was just another rank 3 in case something ever happened. I figured it would help out.
Okay.
Next up, we play a couple rank 2s, because with our Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, we have the ability to make these, and with Monster Reborn and such. Diagnostic Phoenix didn't really come out at all today. If you're running Apprentice Magician in Spellbooks, you can really spam rank 2s, like you can play Dark Mist as well. Gachi Gachi was the only one I really went into. I went into Shining Elf one time against Samurais, just to make sure that their Grandmaster couldn't get over it, and that they wouldn't, I wouldn't destroy it by effect. It was really weird, but it actually put in a lot of work. Plus it looks like Link from Legend of Zelda, so why wouldn't you play him? And next up, we have 2 rank 4s, because we play Breaker, and with Book of Life and Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, we can create a level 4 spellcaster. Utopia is just good utility, blocks attacks, fun stuff. Matriarch also good utility, buys you turns, put monsters face down, show them who's boss. And then the last card was Big Eye. I only made it once today, and it didn't really help out that much. It is useful with Tragodia, and with our Priestess. With Big Eye and Tragodia, you can do a lot of really crazy combos. Taking their monsters. It's also a spellcaster, so it works with all your spellbooks. Your Book of Power, Book of Life. Actually, it does not work with Book of Life, as well as you think. And it also works with Book of Wisdom. So this card kind of puts in work, but it is susceptible to Puppet Plant, so you have to be careful of that. Somebody Puppet Planted my Big Eye and took my Priestess. That was not fun. Right. Then we played a couple Synchros. The only 2 I actually made today were Scrap Dragon and Black Rose. With Scrap Dragon, it was kind of a Gore's Veiler ordeal. Or if you're in a situation where you have this guy, and Breaker in the Grave, and a Veiler, and Book of Life, you can make a Black Rose only when you absolutely need to. Other times you're going to Monster Reborn your opponent's cards. Veiler, Synchro. Black Rose is just really helpful today. It should have probably been an Arcanite Magician, but I wasn't running Chaos Sorcerer, so I figured I'll just go for Black Rose. And it actually won me a game today. And then we played 1 Stardust. I never really made it today. The extra deck is still a work in progress. There are definitely a couple other cards I was missing today, but we'll talk about those some other time. Now on for the side deck. Every card in the side deck was used today except for maybe 2. They weren't that helpful. But we have 2 Snowman Eaters. This card destroys Naturia Beast. Naturia Beast destroys your deck. Snowman Eater will win you games against Santa Rabbit and Naturia Beast and Shockmaster, etc. Thunder King. And it buys you extra turns. Also, it being a rank 3, it has a lot of synergy with our Sangan, our Spirit Reapers, our Temperance is like a Veilard, and our Tour Guide Engine. So Snowman Eater allows a lot of rank 3 spam, and it can put in a lot of work. Killed so many Naturia Beasts today. Next up, we have 2 Bottomless Trapples. These are for when you're going first game 2 against something like Chaos Dragons, because you want to bottomless their Lila, or you want to bottomless their Light Pulsar, Blackluster Soldier, etc. You usually side out Soul Takers for these. I didn't use them that much today. They're also really good against Darkwold. You want to banish their monster they normal summon to bring back Grapha. Okay. It's pretty good, but it is cuttable. We have 3 Rivalry of the Warlords. I did not have another Max C. I was scared of the wind-up matchup. I'm 3-0 against wind-ups with this deck as of today, or for regionals today. So Rivalry definitely worked a lot in my advantage. All of the monsters in my deck are spellcasters and fiends. We have Breaker, we have our Tragodia, Gores. These are all spellcasters, fiends, tour guides, a fiend as well. So the synergy is not bad. You can just camp on your big fiends. Spirit Reapers are zombies, but you don't really need Reaper and a Rivalry at the same time. Next up, we have 2 Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. This is the MVP against Darkwold, Dragons, and sometimes Heroes, especially with Soul Taker. You Soul Taker Grapha, summon Kaiku, swing. Banish Grapha. It's really hard to come back from that, especially against Chaos Dragons if they can't get over this, because Lila is only 1700. Their only out is really Card Trooper, but that's why we have Compulse. Next up, we have 2 Noblemen across out. I really needed something for the Gear Guy matchup, because Gear Guy armor is really annoying. Nobody resolved a single Gear Guy armor against me today in the 2 matches I played against them, because I would always just Nobleman it. This is also really good against Santa Rabbit. You hit their Snowman, you hit their Reaper, you hit their set Cobblesalls, if they really troll you that hard. Nobleman is odd. Next up, we have the 1 Lonely Space Typhoon, because I only main deck 2. And then for the final, we have 3 Gemini Imps. Best card decided against Darkwold in my opinion. You can't really run Macrocosmos. Dimensional Fissure, a little bit iffy. Gemini Imps is a hand trap, they can't play around it. You stop their drag down. That's really important because they're going to drag down and take your Tragodia or discard your Gores. And you really want those cards because they kind of save you when you're getting your ass beat by Grapha. And so that's the deck. Overall, it could have been a little bit better today. Performance, 1 hour sleep. But we're going to take this to every regional this month in October and see how it does.
That's good. Woo! Alright, well guys, this is Mr. West. Thank you, Dylan. We do appreciate it. And we kind of figure out what's up with the giraffe here, man.
Giraffe?
Is there got a story behind it?
I don't know, I just carried it around all day. Everyone called me the guy with the giraffe. It was kind of a good luck charm. It was a little bit intimidating, especially when I sit down at the table. I tell my opponents I'm playing Watch Giraffe, and that's my deck. I don't know. It was cool. I figured I'd bring a stuffed animal with me. A little bit of good mojo. Playing a deck no one knows about, having stuffed animals, sitting down with a cowboy view on that. Who is this guy?
Yeah, definitely element of surprise.
But we'll definitely be seeing more Prophecy in the near future, terrorizing Northern Virginia.
What's the best thing that you think this deck has besides the element of surprise right now?
Besides that, just the ability to open with 6 cards, look at your opponent and just say go, and observe their reaction. So many times you'll be holding that Tragodia Heavy Storm, they'll try and go off an OTK, you drop Trag, Heavy Storm, 3k beater, just beat the shit out of them. They don't know what to expect. A lot of my game ones, I would win with just Tragodia, Reaper, and or Gores, and like, my opponent would have no idea what to side. The surprise factor is amazing. There are very few cards you can side deck against this deck other than maybe Macrocosmos. A couple cards to stop Priestess that negate her effect, cards that can't be targeted. There are a bunch of random cards that work against this deck. But it has a pretty decent matchup against everything. I did lose to Dino Rabbit twice today. That was really unfortunate. You know, Rabbit Tour Guide, shenanigans, etc. But I'm still working on it. It has a lot of work to do, but it can definitely get up there.
Well, thank you very much for the deck profile.
Yep.
You know, we'll definitely be looking forward to seeing you smash down with Prophecies at Maryland Regionals. And good luck, man.
And Rockville, and YCS Rhode Island. And as soon as Abyss Rising comes out, this deck's gonna be hot. You should pick everything up now. Alright, thanks. Peace.
Peace.